Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody. I'm sick of just liking people. I wish to God I could meet somebody I could respect. I am always saying, glad to have met you, to somebody I'm not at all glad I met. If you want to stay alive, you have to say that stuff, though. I like it when somebody gets excited about something. It's nice. The mark of the immature man is that he wants to die nobly for a cause, while the mark of the mature man is that he wants to live humbly for one. I'm sick of not having the courage to be an absolute nobody. It's funny. All you have to do is say something nobody understands and they'll do practically anything you want them to. And I have one of those very loud, stupid laughs. I mean, if I ever sat behind myself in a movie or something, I'd probably lean over and tell myself to please shut up. Certain things, they should stay the way they are. You ought to be able to stick them in one of those big glass cases and just leave them alone. She wasn't doing a thing that I could see, except standing there leaning on the balcony railing, holding the universe together. When you're not looking, somebody'll sneak up and write "fuck you" right under your nose. If a girl looks swell when she meets you, who gives a damn if she's late? I'd just be the catcher in the rye and all. I know it's crazy, but that's the only thing I'd really like to be. I know it's crazy. And I can't be running back and forth forever between grief and high delight. If you do something too good, then, after a while, if you don't watch it, you start showing off. And then you're not as good anymore. Make sure you marry someone who laughs at the same things you do. An artist's only concern is to shoot for some kind of perfection, and on his own terms, not anyone else's. I'm a kind of paranoiac in reverse. I suspect people of plotting to make me happy. It was that kind of a crazy afternoon, terrifically cold, and no sun out or anything, and you felt like you were disappearing every time you crossed a road. Grand. There's a word I really hate. It's a phony. I could puke every time I hear it. The fact is always obvious much too late, but the most singular difference between happiness and joy is that happiness is a solid and joy a liquid. If you had 1,000,000 years to do it in, you couldn't rub out even half the "fuck you" signs in the world. It's impossible. I don't know what good it is to know so much and be smart as whips and all if it doesn't make you happy. Poets are always taking the weather so personally. They're always sticking their emotions in things that have no emotions. It's partly true, too, but it isn't all true. People always think something's all true. I have scars on my hands from touching certain people, certain heads, certain colors and textures of human hair leave permanent marks on me. I'll read my books and I'll drink coffee and I'll listen to music and I'll bolt the door. You don't know how to talk to people you don't like. Don't love, really. You can't live in the world with such strong likes and dislikes. It's not too bad when the sun's out, but the sun only comes out when it feels like coming out. That's the whole trouble. When you're feeling very depressed, you can't even think. I don't even know what I was running for. I guess I just felt like it. Don't tell people what you are thinking, or you will miss them terribly when you are away. You're lucky if you get time to sneeze in this goddamn phenomenal world. It always smelled like it was raining outside, even if it wasn't, and you were in the only nice, dry, cozy place in the world. If you weren't around, I'd probably be someplace way the hell off. In the woods or some goddamn place. You're the only reason I'm around, practically. I privately say to you, old friend, please accept from me this unpretentious bouquet of early blooming parentheses. It's really too bad that so much crummy stuff is a lot of fun sometimes. She said she knew she was able to fly because when she came down she always had dust on her fingers from touching the light bulbs. I wouldn't exactly describe her as strictly beautiful. She knocked me out, though. If you sat around there long enough and heard all the phonies applauding and all, you got to hate everybody in the world, I swear you did. You can't stop a teacher when they want to do something. They just do it. I don't really deeply feel that anyone needs an airtight reason for quoting from the works of the writers he loves, but it's always nice, I'll grant you, if he has one. People never think anything is anything really. I'm getting goddamn sick of it. She wrote to him fairly regularly, from a paradise of triple exclamation points and inaccurate observations. Give me a story that just makes me unreasonably vigilant. Keep me up till 5 only because all your stars are out, and for no other reason. You asked me how to get out of the finite dimensions when I feel like it. I certainly don't use logic when I do it. Logic's the first thing you have to get rid of. In the first place, you're way off when you start railing at things and people instead of at yourself. Just because somebody's dead, you don't just stop liking them, especially if they were about 1,000 times nicer than the people you know that re-alive and all. My God, there's absolutely nothing 10th rate about you. And yet you're up to your neck at this minute in 10th-rate thinking. I just hope that one day, preferably when we're both blind drunk, we can talk about it. This is God's universe, buddy, not yours, and he has the final say about what's ego and what isn't. Among other things, you'll find that you're not the first one who was ever confused and frightened and even sickened by human behavior. He said I was unequipped to meet life because I had no sense of humor. Franny was staring at the little blotch of sunshine with a special intensity, as if she were considering lying down in it. The worst thing that being an artist could do to you would be that it would make you slightly unhappy constantly. They love their reasons for loving us almost as much as they love us, and most of the time more. It's not so good, that way. I don't care if it's a sad goodbye or a bad goodbye, but when I leave a place I like to know I'm leaving it. If you don't, you feel even worse. Always, always, always referring every goddamn thing that happens right back to our lousy little egos. Oh, I don't know. That digression business got on my nerves. I don't know. The trouble with me is, I like it when somebody digresses. It's more interesting and all. She was a girl who for a ringing phone dropped exactly nothing. She looked as if her phone had been ringing continually ever since she had reached puberty. Nobody who's really using his ego, his real ego, has any time for any goddamn hobbies. How old are you? I asked her. Old enough to know better.